I'll start with this. I remember that when I was a child, my grandparents always said that by the time I grew up, there would be no more wars and no need for an army. I quickly understood that wasn't true, because I came to know what it means to be a nation of Israel, the land of Israel and the state of Israel, where in every generation they rise up to destroy us and the Holy One saves us. We are at a historic moment, a moment that will be remembered for generations, and we are here, and we have merited to take part in this history, another chapter in the story of the Jewish people. Every such chapter is the story of the Jewish people. It always begins with one thing: our internal quarrels within the people. Now it is our turn to be those who take on the burden and take responsibility for the people. IDF soldiers across all generations, all of them took responsibility for their people. Now it is our turn. See what happens when a nation you have raised, each child with his own unique contribution to the people of Israel. Grant me the privilege of raising sons and grandsons, wise and understanding, who love God, fear heaven, men of truth, holy seed clinging to God. We will meet soon, and I ask that you always keep smiling, no matter what happens, and to keep doing for the people and for the land. I love you with all my soul.
To my family, my boyfriend, those close to me, I'm here on the Lebanese border as a fighter, on the border of my country for the most important things in the world to me. I'm writing this between sirens, between going out to the border, between returning to my post. Know that there is no one happier than me for having chosen to do what I do. Happy to get up every morning and serve my country in the Sapphire Unit. I love you all, praying and asking that all the hostages, the missing, may all the families from north to south remain healthy and whole. May all IDF soldiers go in peace and return in peace.
There is no one like you, Najma. You can find me everywhere. Search for me in the early rain and the late rain. When you see lemons and apples, you can remember my dreams. I loved you more than anything in the world. Our story did not end. Our story only just began. One day, you will come and join me among the stars, and we will dance together until sunrise. Feel me in the Shabbat air beside the candles, and in the wind in the middle of the night. You can look for me in the clouds, in the storms that spin around, and know that I am bringing you the waters into your beautiful world. I am always with you. I love you.
My life, I had so many things to write, but in the moment of truth, everything flees from my head. I always thought to myself, what's a good phrase? Something that's mine? I'll go with im kvar az kvar. If already, then all the way. I think this phrase has good meaning. You can take it in many directions. I chose this phrase because the way to complete it is, if we're already going in, it's for the family, the friends, and the people. In the end, when I was a child, they always protected me, and now it's my turn to protect you. Dear Mom and Dad, I want you to know that I always love you. I want you to know that I appreciate everything you did for me and the support you gave me. It's not taken for granted. Gaia, Aya, and Noah, I want to thank you for everything. Dear family and friends, thank you for all the support. I love and appreciate you from the depths of my heart. Thank you for being part of my life. I love you, Erez. If already, then all the way. Im kvar az kvar. תישארו שמחים בשבילי. Stay happy for me.
יודע כל כאב, מי רופא לי שבור הלב, יוצר אור וחושך, עושה שלום ומלחמה. מי יושב על כיסא דין, מתכסה ברחמים, מוחל וסולח, מביט ויודע, ומי ירפא ליבי, אל מי אני מתגעגע, כמו ים שאין לו חוף. רק תגיד לי מי יחבק אותי, ויבטיח שאני לא אכנע בסוף. מי יושב על כיסא דין, מי ממית ומחייב, פותח ידיים, מצמיח כנפיים, ומי ירפא ליבי, אל מי אני מתגעגע, כמו ים שאין לו חוף. רק תגיד לי מי יחבק אותי, ויבטיח שאני לא אכנע בסוף, שאני לא אכנע בסוף. ירפא ליבי, אל מי אני מתגעגע, כמו שאין לו חוק, רק תגיד לי מי יחבק אותי ויבטיח שאני לא אכנע בסוף, שאני לא אכנע בסוף.
There's another letter tonight, another letter to add to those that we read. And this one was shared with me by my dear friend and colleague, Rabbi Adam Kliegfeld from Los Angeles, whose family lost Ayal Tweedo. Ayal was a paratrooper, a son, a young man who on Shabbat, on the Shabbatot, the Shabbos is that he would come home from the front, would sit with his friends at a round table and rank the kugels at Kiddush. Ayal's mother, Shiri Tweedo, wrote to him today, 2 years later, present tense, because what else can you do when the absence is so total and the pain still so fresh? She wrote, "My heart still jumps with every notification that comes into my phone. I'm waiting, Ayal, for you to send one." She writes about his empty Shabbat seat, the ping pong table in the yard, and the fox trail from the synagogue to his grandparents' house. Places that to an ordinary person are just places, but for me, they are iron swords turning in my heart and soul, because every piece and every place cries out for you and for your absence. And then this line, which I haven't been able to put down, "Tell me, my child, can't I just remain simply a mother, a proud mother, a loving mother, your mother?" I want to pause here and not move past this too quickly, as this question is critical. That question, can I just remain simply a mother, is not Shiri's alone. It is asked by an entire people, generation after generation, called to absorb the unabsorbable, hold grief without a container, keep setting the table despite the empty seats. The rabbis teach us, "Mi sheyesh lo yisurim yishtok," one who carries suffering, be still. Be still because some wounds are deeper than language. Be still long enough to feel the loss and to grieve it. Be still in order to be with the ones that we've lost. Tonight, we shared that stillness. The letters, the candle, the song that held us just now. This is what Yom HaZikaron asks of us. It asks of us to be present. Let one grief, Ayal's face, his mother's phone, his empty chair, land in your body and stay. Ayal Tweedo's mother, Shiri, ends her letter to him this way: "You are with me forever and across all worlds, in this world and until we meet again in the world to come. Ba'olam hazeh ve'ad shenitra'eh le'olam haba." Tonight, while we stand together, we find ourselves exactly there on that bridge, in the Ma'avar, in the space between memory and the future. We do not leave this grief behind when the sun sets. We carry it forward, letting it make us more serious, more awake, and more committed to each other, to the living, to a future worthy of those no longer here to see it. Ayal ranked kugels. He spoke of meaningful service, came home tired and determined, and then he didn't come home again. We say his name tonight. We say all their names. Yehi zichram baruch. May their memory be a blessing, and may we be worthy of it.
Thank you for being here tonight as we gather for this Tekes Ma'avar, this important ceremony of transition. We at the 92nd Street Y are deeply honored to be hosting this ceremony this year, joining together with members of our community, members of the community of KJ Central Synagogue, Park Avenue Synagogue, and members of the Jewish community more broadly. Moments like this invite us to pause, to reflect on where we have been, and to mark the meaningful step into what comes next. In Jewish tradition, we don't rush past transitions, we honor them. A ma'avar is not just an ending or a beginning, it is a bridge. It holds the memories, relationships, and experiences that have shaped us, while at the same time opening us up to new possibilities ahead. Tonight, we hold two things as true in the same evening. We hold the pain and grief for all who have been lost in the fight for Israel's existence on Yom HaZikaron. And as the sun goes down, we transition to Yom Ha'Atzmaut and hold the joy that we felt at the declaration of Israel's independence and in the face of so many obstacles that we feel in its continued existence to this day. We hold the sad memories and the joy together. And in the spirit of Ma'avar and the complexity of today's world, we hold hope that not just a metaphorical tomorrow, but an actual tomorrow sometime soon will bring new possibilities. The possibility of greater acceptance for Israel around the world, the possibility of fewer threats to Israel and our people, and of course, the possibility of shalom, of peace, for Israel, for the Jewish people, and indeed, for all people of goodwill everywhere.
The philosopher William James once wrote, "The greatest use of life is to spend it on something that will outlast it." Tonight, as we conclude Yom HaZikaron, those words feel less like an idea and more like a reality that we are challenged to face. We've stood in that silence, the moment when a siren sounds and an entire nation stands still, and felt, if only from a distance, what it means for a nation to carry loss together. Israel's fallen soldiers gave their lives in defense of something greater than themselves so that the Jewish people could live with dignity, with security, and with sovereignty in the land of our beginnings. They are among the great heroes of our people, not only because of how they died, but because of what they chose to stand for. This year, as it has for the last several years, that truth feels especially close to home. My son is a soldier in the IDF. Since October 7th, he has spent over 350 days in reserve duty, and in the past 3.5 weeks, he has been in Lebanon with his tank unit. When the call came, he answered it. He stepped forward over and over again, as do his friends, with a sense of responsibility. In his own way, he's chosen to spend his life on something that will outlast it. And like so many others, his choice did not emerge in a vacuum. It was shaped by those who came before him, by those we remember tonight, who made the ultimate sacrifice so that this generation could live and defend a sovereign Jewish state. Their lives were given for something meant to last, and the question is whether we will carry it forward. Because Yom HaZikaron is not only about them. Each life we remember places a question before us. What will we do with the future that they made possible? As we turn toward Yom Ha'Atzmaut in a few minutes, we remember that the story, their story, does not end with sacrifice. It continues with life, with the determination to build, to strive, to hope, and with the quiet resilience of ordinary people who choose day after day to live with purpose in the country that was defended for them. And that this is what these losses ask of us. To remember? Yes, of course. And to live in a way that honors what was given in what we build and in the choices that we make. May we carry their memory with us, not only in moments of silence, but in lives of purpose. And may we be worthy of the future they gave us.
כשגייל עלתה לארץ, היא כבר הייתה צלמת עיתונות מנוסה. היא הגיעה לישראל, התאהבה במקום, ואז התחילה מלחמת יום הכיפורים. היא ירדה כצלמת עיתונות לסקר את המלחמה, וכל המראות של המלחמה היו לה מאוד מאוד קשים. כשהמלחמה נגמרה, היא החליטה שהיא חוזרת לצלם טבע. והיא הלכה וצילמה את נופי ארץ ישראל. והיא זו צלמת מופלאה. יום אחד היא הלכה לצלם בחוף מעגן מיכאל. תוך כדי שהיא מצלמת, יצאה סירת מחבלים מהים. והיא הייתה הראשונה שהם רצחו. גייל לא הספיקה להתחתן, לא ללדת ילדים. תמונות שלה הם הזיכרון האחרון שנשאר ממנה.
I will share with you a letter from Daniela Margalit, who wrote it for our service tonight. My name is Daniela. I serve as a combat paramedic in the 7th Brigade of the Israeli Defense Forces. I was born in San Francisco, grew up here in New York, and moved to Israel with my family when I was 8. Today, I live in Tel Aviv with my parents and my 2 younger siblings. On October 7th, I was in London, spending a sabbatical year with my family. When everything happened, I came back to Israel alone and enlisted as a lone soldier. That's when I began my training as a military paramedic. 14 months of learning how to respond in moments where there isn't time to think twice. Since then, I've gone wherever my brigade has sent. Growing up, Yom HaZikaron didn't feel like this. It was something we marked at school, in the tzofim, with ceremonies and songs. I stood when the siren sounded, but I didn't really know what I was standing inside. Now I do. Today, there is almost no one I know who hasn't lost someone, or is close to someone who has. The distance between Memorial Day and the real life has disappeared. So instead of speaking about everything, I want to tell you about one person, Amit Man. Amit was a paramedic in Magen David Adom. She was 22 years old. On October 7th, she was on duty in Kibbutz Be'eri. When the sirens began, she didn't stay in shelter. She ran to the clinic. Inside, she turned it into something like a field hospital. She treated people for hours, under fire, doing whatever she could with what she had. And then, later that day, the terrorists reached the clinic. That's where she was killed. I think about that moment often, about the decision to run towards something like that, not away from it. As someone in the same profession, I don't experience her story as something distant. It feels close, almost like a mirror I'm not sure I'm ready to look into. Because being a medic means something very simple and very absolute. You show up. You treat whoever is in front of you. No questions asked. That's the commitment. And it's also what makes stories like hers stay with me. Since the war began, there have been many stories like this, and also many families now carrying something that doesn't go away. Since last Memorial Day, 170 more soldiers have been killed. I find it hard to say that number and keep going, because it's not a number I recognize. It's not how we experience it. It's names, faces, conversations that stopped in the middle, and it's still happening. So when I stand here today, I don't feel like I'm speaking about the past. I'm speaking from inside something that is still unfolding. And maybe that's why being here matters to me, because even from far away, you chose to stop, to listen, to remember. I don't take that for granted. In the middle of everything, what stays with me are the people, the ones we lost and the ones still carrying them forward in small, everyday ways. And maybe that's where hope begins for me, not as something big or abstract, but as something quiet. The possibility of days that are a little less heavy, of lives that don't have to end this way. Thank you.
Please rise. A prayer for the Israeli Defense Forces. Mishe berach avotenu Avraham, Yitzchak v'Yaakov. Hu yivarech et chayalei tzva hagana liYisrael, העומדים על משמר ארצנו, והרי אלוהינו, מגבול הלבנון ועד מדבר מצרים, ומן הים הגדול עד לבוא ערבה ביבשה, באוויר ובים. ייתן אדוני את אויבינו הקמים עלינו ניגפים לפניהם. הקדוש ברוך הוא ישמור יציל את חיילינו מכל צרה וצוקה, ומכל נגע ומחלה. וישלח ברכה והצלחה בכל מעשה ידיהם. ידבר שונאינו תחתיהם ויתרם בכתר ישועה, וביתר ניצחון תעטרם. וקוים בהם הכתוב, כי אדוני אלוהיכם ההולך עמכם להילחם לכם עם אויביכם, להושיע אתכם, ונאמר אמן.
אל מלא רחמים, שוכן במרומים, המצא מנוחה נכונה על כנפי השכינה, במעלות קדושים טהורים, כזוהר הרקיע, מזהירים לנשמות אחינו ואחיותינו, לוחמי המחתרות, חיילי צבא ההגנה לישראל, וכל כוחות הביטחון וההצלה, ונפגעי הטרור. שמסרו נפשם על קדושת העם והארץ. בעבור שכולנו מתפללים לעילוי נשמותיהם. לכן בעל הרחמים יסתירם בסתר כנפיו לעולמים, ויצרור החיים את נשמותיהם. אדוני הוא נחלתם, וינוחו ושלום על משכבם, ונאמר אמן.
El Maleh Rachamim, exalted, compassionate God, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and the pure, to the souls of our brothers and sisters, soldiers of Israel's defense forces, the security and rescue forces, and all victims of terror who gave their lives for the sanctification of our people and land. May the Garden of Eden be their resting place. Merciful One, may they forever dwell beneath the divine wings, their souls bound in the bond of life eternal. The Lord is their heritage. May they rest peacefully. And let us all say, Amen. You may be seated.
שעמדה לאבותינו ולנו, שלא אחד בלבד עמד עלינו לכלותנו, עמד עלינו לכלותנו, והיא שעמדה
Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Good evening. I'm speaking to you today from Har Herzl in Jerusalem, from a place where memory lives, where loss is felt so deeply, and where the heroic soldiers buried here have given their lives to ensure the survival of our people. I was honored to have been asked to address you this evening, especially as tomorrow I will be receiving the Israel Prize for my work with One Family. One Family was built out of a deep understanding that when tragedy strikes, it doesn't affect one person, it shatters an entire family. For almost 25 years, we have embraced families of victims of terror and war all across Israel, providing not only financial support, but also long-term emotional care, and therapy, and community, and a sense of belonging. We walk with children as they grow up without a parent. We stand beside widows and widowers as they try to rebuild their lives. We support parents, siblings, entire families whose lives have been changed forever. But standing here, I feel very clearly that this recognition is not mine. It belongs to the thousands of families we accompany every single day. Families who have lost so much and who are still finding the strength to keep going. Tonight, you gathered together at the 92nd Street Y to mark one of the most profound moments in Israeli life, the transition, the Ma'avar, from Yom HaZikaron to Yom Ha'Atzmaut. In this transition, there's no real separation between pain and joy. They live side by side. They shape each other. For the families we embrace at One Family, this transition is not symbolic. It's deeply personal. For them, Yom HaZikaron is not a single day of remembrance. They don't need a siren to remember. They live with their loss every single day. It is their entire life. It's the empty chair at the table. It's the silence in the child's room. It's the absence that never leaves. And yet, hours later, the country moves into Yom Ha'Atzmaut, into celebration, into life, into continuity. And somehow, these families find a way to stand in both worlds, to carry their pain and still allow life to move forward. This is the deepest form of resilience I've ever witnessed. Not strength that is loud or visible, but a quiet, daily choice to keep living. Since October 7th, everything has intensified. The number of families, the depth of the trauma, the layers of loss, it's unlike anything we've ever experienced as a country. And yet, at the same time, we're seeing something else. We're seeing an extraordinary sense of unity, a feeling that we are one people. At One Family, this has always been more than our name. It is our belief that when a family hurts, we feel it. We all feel it. And when one family finds strength, it gives strength to all of us. Tonight, as you gather together in New York, so far geographically, yet so deeply connected in heart, you're a part of that story. Your support, your presence, your care, it's not something abstract. It is felt. It reaches homes, it reaches families, children who need to know that they are not alone. There's one thing I've learned over these years, it is this. We cannot take away the pain, but we can make sure that no one carries it alone. And that is what you're doing. By being here, by remembering, by standing with us. You are part of that embrace. So as we move together from memory to independence, from loss to life, we carry both. And perhaps that is the essence of who we are as a people. To remember, to feel deeply, and still to choose life. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for standing with the families of Israel.
Tekes Ma'avar. I'll be honest, for a lot of my life, I did not know what those words meant. Sure, I grew up in a Zionist congregation where Yom Ha'Atzmaut was a giant celebration with flags and Israeli food and falafel. And we always marked Yom HaZikaron with candles and with prayer. But it wasn't until much later in my life that I had heard of Tekes Ma'avar, let alone marked it. But it is such a quintessentially Jewish thing to do. To mark the threshold, to mark that liminal moment, that transition of crossing over from Memorial Day to Independence Day, from mourning to dancing. After all, crossing over is what it means to be an Ivri, a Hebrew. As you know, when Abraham was called to leave his land and his birthplace and his father's house to a land that he did not know, he had to leave everything familiar behind. Imagine what that felt like. And when he got to the river Euphrates, that was the threshold, the boundary between being at home and becoming a stranger. When he crosses over, Ya'avor in Hebrew, that is where the word Ivri comes from, Hebrew. So to be a Hebrew is to be one who literally crosses over. Tekes Ma'avar, the ritual of crossing over. Ma'avor, also Ma'avar, from that same root of Ya'avor. We are a people who regularly have to cross over. And when we do, with all the uncertainty and unfamiliarity, we are promised by God that when we follow the call to serve something bigger than ourselves, that we will be a blessing. We started our remembrance this evening, with letters that you heard from soldiers who wrote them when they were on the threshold of going into Gaza, Lebanon, but actually on a threshold much bigger, of not knowing if they were going into their own deaths. I want to share one last letter of Adi Leon, 20, who wrote this as he went into Gaza and did not return. These are just excerpts. I never thought I would have to ever write something like this. I tried to put it off again and again, but there is a possibility that we may not come back. And there are a few things I need you to know before it's over. Dear Mom and Dad, I want you to know how much I appreciate you. You mean everything to me. Zohar, my amazing sister, now you are the elder in the family, It's a tough task, but I'm sure you'll be up to it. Oriki, my little sister, I don't think that God could create anyone sweeter or more perfect than you. If you want, you can always talk to me. I'll be listening to you, even from heaven. I'm heading into this war with the knowledge that I may not return, but I believe in all my heart in what I'm doing. I hope you celebrate like we planned when I return. Ein li eretz acheret. I have no other country, and now it's my turn to defend it. This is what my parents taught me. This is what I believe in. I hope you will remember me. Adi. Adi's mother, Nurit, had promised him that when the war was over, she would fill her street and close it off in front of the house and create a royal feast and a giant street party. After Adi was killed, even amidst their tremendous grief, his parents decided to fulfill this promise, and friends of his from all over the country came to a huge party. She closed off the street, and they threw this party on what would have been his 21st birthday. They hung a sign with Adi's words on the street, I hope you'll celebrate like we planned after my return. Adi and so many others have crossed over, and yet he urges us, just as our tradition does, to go from mourning to dancing. In our Tekes Ma'avar, to cross over like these brave heroes, to become a blessing.
Achiotai ve'echai. Dear sisters and brothers, happy Israeli Independence Day. Yom Ha'Atzmaut Sameach Israel. As President of the State of Israel, the world's only Jewish state, a modern-day miracle and incredible democracy in our ancient homeland, I have one message to Jews around the world. Hold your heads up high. 78 years ago, we celebrated a declaration of independence. We rejoiced at the idea, at the vision that our founding fathers and mothers have put forward of a singular nation, a real state for the Jewish people. But today, nearly 8 decades later, since that radical moment in Jewish history, we celebrate facts. We celebrate a reality we were fortunate to build. We celebrate a dream that was realized. We celebrate an incredible nation. Together, we've earned the right to toast what we've created and what we've accomplished as a nation and as a people. Yes, today we can be very proud. This pride does not negate other complexities and conflicting feelings we all carry. The heartbreak and sorrow of the war, the horror of the anti-Semitism wave sweeping the globe, the weight of uncertainty in the region, and, at the very same breath, there is a deep faith that our sacrifices and losses enabled us to achieve 78 years of independence, sovereignty, and building a true home for every citizen of the State of Israel. And in spite of it all, alongside everything, and because of everything, we know that we are resilient and we carry forward an incredible message of historic justice, deep compassion, and tikkun olam, healing a fractured world. Israel is a blessing and a gift to the Jewish people and to all civilization. Our courage to ask questions, our willingness to name heartbreak, our readiness to call out injustice, our ability to rise from tragedy and keep rebuilding and rebuilding. This is what Israel is all about. And I know that Israel is the best of us. It is not only the fulfillment of an age-old dream, but a platform for designing our own future together, based on our own values, traditions, and heritage. Israel is home to communities all around the country, of all faiths and religions. It is home for a vibrant, creative, and resilient people, prepared to bear the blessing and the responsibility of sovereignty, the blessing and responsibility for our beloved Jewish democratic state of Israel.
Israel's national anthem is a response to cynicism. Its very name, Hatikva, is taken from the 33rd chapter of Ezekiel. Some 2,400 years ago, in a valley filled with dry bones, Ezekiel receives a prophecy about the Israelite exiles in Babylonia. And many of those exiles were saying, Avda tikvatenu, our hope is gone. But in Ezekiel's vision, the dry bones come to life, and he declares to the exiles that they should know they will return home. They will rebuild their homeland. Ezekiel tells the exiles they should hold on to their hope. And that is exactly what Zionism did for the Jews at the end of the 19th century, when the song Hatikva was being sung before it was a national anthem. Zionism was telling Jews at a time when the storm winds of anti-Semitism was swirling around Europe that there is a hope. This year, Yom Ha'Atzmaut is a time where, unfortunately, there are many cynics that are wondering that perhaps Avda Tikvatenu, is our hope lost? Because it is a year when there are so many questions. There are questions about how will Israel overcome the trauma of the last 3 years? Will Israel return to its old divisions? Will sinat chinam, unnecessary hatred, resurface? And then there is the ultimate question. Is peace ever going to be possible? Yes, sometimes our hatikva, our hope, wavers, and we wonder too. But then there's a spark, an anecdote, a story that makes you realize that there is plenty of hope left and plenty to hope for. Let me share one such story. Esther Greitzer was a survivor of the Holocaust. Dr. Joseph Mengele had performed some of his sadistic experiments on her, which rendered her infertile. She moved to Haifa to live near her sister's family, and she worked as a nurse. She passed away a year ago at age 94. For her funeral, her family was concerned that they wouldn't have a minyan. They wouldn't have the minimum group of 10 to say the Kaddish prayer. So someone posted a request on social media that morning for volunteers to come and help with the minyan. A few hours later, hundreds of people came to attend her funeral. They crowded the streets to offer respect to Esther. These people were coming together as one family for a long-lost aunt they had never met. And I want to say something. This story could only happen in Israel. This story could only happen in Israel. And when I hear a story like this, no matter how many questions or worries or doubts I have, I realize we must have hope. There is so much to hope for. Chag Sameach.
בקרוב תזרח השמש, נדע ימים יפים מאלה, הלב נלחם בדאגות. כולם יחזרו הביתה, נחכה להם למטה, הלוואי נדע בשורות טובות. כי ים הנצח לעולם לא מפחד, אפילו שקשה לראות. כולם ביחד, אף אחד פה לא בודד, שישרפו המלחמות. כולם! עם ישראל חי, אם לא נשכח תמיד להיות מאוחדים. עם ישראל חי, בעליות בירידות, גם בשעות הכי קשות, הקדוש ברוך הוא שומר עלינו, אז מי יכול עלינו? כי אין לנו עוד מדינה. תעשה שלום בינינו, שמור על ילדינו, כי לא אתה אמונה. עם ישראל, עם ישראל חי. עם ישראל חי. שימו אחד, אני אותך, שתי עיניים, שסבא שר כמו לאבא, והיום אני עוד חי, 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 עם ישראל חי. זה השיר שסבא שר כמו לאבא, והיום אני. כולם! אוי 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 אוי. שמעתי שעושים פה מסיבה בלעדיי, אף אחד לא עושה את זה יותר טוב ממני. נשים את הצרות מאחוריי, אני לא הולך עד שכולכם מג'נונים. שמעתי שהתחלתם בלעדיי, אף אחד לא עושה את זה יותר טוב ממני. הראש פעם מסתובב כולם בעיונה, עזוב עד שכולכם מג'נונים. להיט, תרימו לי להיט, תרימו לב עולה, הקצב כאן עולה. מהפכה של שמחה, כי כולנו משפחה, ונרקוד בטירוף, כי הגיע הזמן לאור. ועכשיו רק שמחה ושקיעה והצמיחה, השתגענו מודים, אם שותים כן רוקדים. אוי 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 אוי, אוי 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 אוי, אוי 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 אוי, אוי אוי אוי. בשנה הבאה נשב על המרפסת ונזכור ציפורים נודדות. ילדים בחולשה ישחקו תופסת בין הבית לבין השדות. עוד תראה כמה טוב יהיה בשנה הבאה. עוד תראה כמה טוב יהיה בשנה הבאה. והשם יתברך תמיד אוהב אותי, ותמיד יהיה לי רק טוב. והשם יתברך תמיד אוהב אותי, let's go! ויהיה לי עוד יותר טוב, ועוד 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 יותר טוב, ותמיד יהיה לי רק טוב. ויהיה לי עוד יותר טוב, ועוד 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 יותר טוב, ותמיד יהיה לי רק טוב. והשם יתברך תמיד אוהב אותי, השם יתברך תמיד שירו רק טוב. ויהיה לי עוד יותר טוב, ועוד יותר טוב, ועוד יותר טוב, ועוד יותר טוב, ועוד יותר טוב, תמיד יהיה לי רע. One more time. ויהיה לי עוד יותר טוב, ועוד יותר טוב, ועוד יותר טוב, ועוד יותר טוב, ועוד יותר טוב, תמיד יהיה לי רע. עם ישראל חי. Together. עם ישראל, עם ישראל, עם ישראל חי. One more time together. עוד אבינו, עוד אבינו חי, עוד אבינו, עוד אבינו עוד אבינו חי, עוד אבינו חי, עוד אבינו, עוד אבינו, עוד אבינו חי, עוד אבינו חי, עוד אבינו חי, עוד אבינו, עוד אבינו, עוד אבינו חי. עם ישראל, עם ישראל, עם ישראל חי, עם ישראל, עם ישראל, עם ישראל חי, עם ישראל, עם ישראל, עם ישראל, עם ישראל, עם ישראל, עם ישראל חי. עוד אבינו חי, עוד אבינו חי, עוד אבינו, עוד אבינו, עוד אבינו חי, עוד אבינו חי, עוד אבינו חי, עוד אבינו, עוד אבינו, עוד אבינו. Sing it together. עם ישראל, עם ישראל, עם ישראל, עם ישראל, עם ישראל, עם ישראל חי, עם ישראל, עם ישראל, עם ישראל חי, עם ישראל, עם ישראל, עם ישראל חי.
We're just going to take 2 seconds, and we'll be right back up again. So I turned to Rabbi Steinmetz after he just came down from delivering his beautiful and very powerful remarks and said, "You stole my thunder." Hatikva, tikvatenu. As Rabbi Steinmetz reminded us, the anthem of Israel, we're only 2 of 9 stanzas of Naftali Tzvi Imber, no relations, 9-stanza poem titled Tikvatenu. They took 2 stanzas from a 9-stanza poem and created an anthem of hope. This Hatikva, our hope, let's think about what it means, drawing from Rabbi Steinmetz's reference to the valley of the dry bones, the dead, desiccated bones of Ezekiel. What the anthem means is that the national anthem of the Jewish state is a direct response to our own ancient cry of hopelessness. We took our deepest wound and made it into music. Maybe this is why our tradition's most famous musical instrument is not made of brass or silver. It isn't formed from wood and string. It's constructed not from stone or from skin. Our most famous musical instrument is bone, a dry bone, a shofar. We've always done this. We take a bone, a dead, dried, desiccated bone, and we breathe into it and make music. We literally put our lips to death and we exhale life. The sound that calls us to return, that sends us to battle, that ushers us into the new year, it comes from a dry bone. It comes from something the world would look at and say, there's nothing left there. And we say, watch. That is Hatikva. That is Hatikva. That is the state of Israel. That is every soldier whose name we read tonight, who breathed life into this impossible, improbable, holy project of Jewish sovereignty. Hatikva is life after death, hope after destruction, and love after loss. Hatikva is us. And let it be heard tonight from this podium and from every podium that we are living through the most dangerous moment for American Jewry in our lifetime, where our peoplehood and our right to self-determination are being called into question. This is not about criticism, friends. This is about erasure. It is the oldest lie, wearing new clothes, that the Jewish people will be judged by different and impossible standards, that they do not have the right to exist as a people in the land that they have inhabited for 3,000 years in safety and in dignity. And I want to say it clearly, and I know all of you agree in this room on this night of all nights, we will not be erased. We are not going anywhere. We are Hatikva. Avdak tikvatenu. Our hope is lost. Rabbi Steinmetz reminded us of the cynicism of the time. The world has said that about this ever, never dying people for thousands of years. And in every generation, we have picked up the bone. We have put it to our lips, and we have played the music. And so tonight we did it again. This is not naive. It's not easy. Tonight will not erase the empty seats, too many empty seats, in Shabbat tables in Israel and around the world. There are mothers who will never stop waiting for that notification. And we are still here. And we are still breathing. And we are still the people of Hatikva. Please rise for Hatikva.
להיות עם חופשי